Alrighty.
It says we're live.
It says we are live. And, well, it's the end of the year.
Woohoo! 2019.
Yes, 2019's in the books. I know SmackDown is currently going on right now, but we ain't watching that. We're not covering what happened on Raw this week because this is the year-end awards spectacular. We did one last year.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Spectacular.
We have guests already.
Great.
See you.
That's not what he said this time.
Well, I'm preemptively giving him an SCU. That's what we do here.
All right.
This is our year-end awards. We're going to be going through our top 10 favorite matches as well as our year-end awards. But first things first, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. If you've never seen this show before, Jedi and I have been watching wrestling together for over 15 years. We love wrestling. We love talking wrestling with other passionate wrestling fans like all of you out there. However, at the end of the day, we are not wrestlers. We're not insiders. We are just two marks. Our opinions are just like that of any other wrestling fan out there. We avoid insider terms because, well, we're not wrestlers and we're not insiders. There you go. And let's just,
Shout out to Kayfabe.
you know that have you watched the Edge and Christian show that totally reeks of awesomeness?
No.
They have a search for kayfabe episode.
Nice.
Like the woman kayfabe.
Right.
Stephen Amell's even on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
So
There you go.
Yeah.
There's your recommended viewing.
there is your recommended viewing content.
Along with these matches and people.
Yes. So we're going to start off with our top 10 favorite matches of the year.
Oh man, are we running people off? We're down to one viewer. Come back!
That's probably you.
It probably is.
Yeah.
I'm sad. Y'all come back right now, you hear?
Do you have any honorable mentions that you want to start off with? We'll
We're
just
doing matches first.
we're doing matches first.
All right. You have a couple of honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list.
Okay.
The Elimination Chamber this year, the men's, for the
Okay.
WWE title, SmackDown. It was Kofi's, first
Yes.
thing. Didn't quite work out, but it was pretty dramatic, and it was part of the Kofi story that was
Yes.
so entertaining. And Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Losing effort though it was, still one of the better Brock Lesnar matches because Finn Balor.
Yeah. Okay. I have is that all of them? Because I have significantly more.
You gotta remember, I have dad brain, so I'm lucky
Yeah.
I come up with this many matches off the top of my head. You go for it.
Okay, well,
Let's hear it.
my honorable mentions, excuse me. First thing is Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler from the 18th, December 18th episode of NXT.
Right.
Maybe not the best in the ring. And that's going to be a theme with a lot of my matches. Maybe not the best in the ring, but, it was kind of a satisfying conclusion to a very, very well-told story with Rhea finally winning the championship. And, yeah.
You know what? One just popped in my head. I'll cut in real quick with one more honorable mention that didn't quite make my list. Jericho versus Cody for the title.
Okay. Awesome.
It was a good story, I mean,
Yes.
when MJF threw in the towel, Cody was done. Just, all this chicanery.
And there was some good subtle storytelling of Jericho was the better man, but still it's
tainted by what MJF.
It's still tainted. It's tainted, but MJF didn't just throw it in whenever there was nothing going on.
No, he had it was
But
hence why it's
AJ and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That was a good one. Better than what I thought would be, even with AJ in it. Keeping with the AJ trend,
right.
The triple threat match. Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, and Roderick Strong from Survivor Series. That is another honorable mention for me. And
I'll second that.
Jericho versus Kenny, Double or Nothing. There's so many good matches that I've Cody and Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
There's
there's
a lot of
kind
good wrestling this year.
been a lot of good wrestling this year. So that's why it was kind of hard for me to narrow it down to 10. But if you would like to go first.
Alrighty. And everybody viewing, don't forget to post your own lists, your own opinions. Feel free
Yes.
to tell us why we're wrong. Especially me. It
Yeah.
won't hurt my feelings.
You know, go ahead and tell us that, are you not aware of the fact that Cody Rhodes sucks?
Right. Tell me to
Bring it on.
Stop being so American and watch some New Japan. Maybe change my list.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell me to quit liking WWE.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Right.
folks, I am still a bit under the weather.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to accuse me of being an AEW shill in this because most of it is WWE focused, to be honest with you.
I will say mine is
Balance.
about as close to well balanced as you could be with a number that's not divisible by the amount of promotions represented. How about
There you
that?
go. All right. So my number 10 actually was Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
It was well done. It was the way Baszler's reign should have ended. A very good. I mean, it found the perfect foil. It wrapped up nicely.
And keep into consideration, even with my list, like I was debating what should be number 10 because you feel bad not including.
I know, right?
All these other matches, like, oh, but I feel bad not including that. Oh, but I feel bad not including that. Oh, but I feel bad not including that.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that's why, like, I didn't want to not include it was because I liked it.
Ooh,
But
bonus round time. Worst match of the year: Undertaker versus Goldberg.
yes,
Without a debate.
yes.
Says the extremely sad Undertaker fan. So, yeah, Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler.
Okay. Well,
We'll watch it.
my
On the
number
next.
10 is Private Party versus the Young Bucks from AEW Dynamite on October the 9th. I liked it because, first of all, it was a good match. It was a great match. Second of all, while I had seen Private Party before, this really made me stand up and go, wow, these guys are good. Like, I kind of thought, oh, hey, I'm interested. I want to see what they can do. This made me go, these guys are good. These guys are going to be a big
Right.
part of this tag division
It
going
made an
forward. And
impression
it was
for me in All Out, but that match was the solidifier. Where it's
Right,
Like, dang. Yeah.
there's seeing somebody for the first time and going, I'd like to see him again, and then going, damn, these guys are fucking
Right.
good. And this was the match that
Yeah.
made me go, damn, these guys are fucking good. And they busted almost everybody's bracket in my competition that I had.
They sure did.
So, yeah.
Cool. 9.
9, yes.
Cody versus Dustin.
Ooh.
It's a little low, maybe, but that
Especially
match,
where you see where I put it.
That's fair. Well, I was just going through and thinking of things that I remembered off the top of my head, and so the longer it took me, probably the lower it got on the list. And
Right.
Cody versus Dustin, I wouldn't necessarily say it wasn't necessarily my normal pace that I like, but the story was super solid. The story
Yeah.
was great. The
Yeah.
ending was great. I mean,
Very dramatic.
it was great. I mean, I'm not going to say anything negative about Cody. He's got his pulse on that style, and
Right.
he makes it work. Again, I like the thing with him and Jericho too. I mean, he understands how to tell a freaking story.
Yeah.
The NWA is worse off for not having him in the rings.
Yeah. But,
I mean, it's all right. They got
maybe
they'll be
down,
okay.
maybe down the road.
Right.
Working relationship. They said the NW said they're open to working with anybody but TNA or Impact.
Right. They
So-
don't want to make an impact.
Yeah, it's a Billy Corgan issue.
Oh well, that.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said. Really.
My number 9 is, and this is probably, there's going to be a lot of people angry that I maybe put this one that low.
Well,
Kenny
a lot of people are
Omega-
gonna be mad at me, I'm sure.
Kenny Omega versus Shima from AEW Fight for the Fallen. This was when they announced that Shima's new promotion. I knew of Shima from Dragon Gate, old Dragon Gate DVDs, and the early days of Evolve, where it was Evolve and Dragon Gate USA, and
Mm-hmm.
it really was an American branch of Dragon Gate, and they'd have Japanese Dragon Gate talent for all their shows. I became a fan of Shima. He'd done stuff in PWG, so I've always liked him. And to my knowledge, I never knew of him and Kenny ever having a match. And, Kenny, obviously, him with Japanese talent, that's kind of...
Mm-hmm.
He's never not had a bad match with, a Japanese wrestler.
Right.
Even him and Toru Yano can be entertaining, as much as I don't particularly care for Toru Yano.
He's
But-
not for everybody.
No. But when they first announced that OWE and AEW would have a relationship, including Shima, I was like, ooh, Shima and Kenny. Shima and Kenny, like, they're not really building Shima up to be, like, a main event guy. But I'm
Right.
thinking, hey, at some point in time, these two have got to wrestle, and they're going to live up to the hype. And boy, did they. For what was essentially just a charity show,
Right.
they brought it in a major way. They lived up to my expectations. We got more chatters. See you! They lived up to my expectations, and I loved that match. And I thought for sure it was going to be the match of the night. More on that later. Number 8.
I had Becky Lynch versus Asuka at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Where Asuka defeated Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Okay.
It was a darn good match. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
most people forget about it because then Becky won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
If you go back and watch it,
But it's because of that match that I'm really intrigued at what we have going to the Royal Rumble with Becky
right.
calling out Asuka. It really seems
1 year.
we're gonna divert just a little bit and talk about Raw with what they're doing with Becky wanting Asuka in a singles match. Really, and I'm probably setting myself up for disappointment and failure.
I know,
So,
right.
but if you have Becky beat Asuka, you could set up, and I'm not a Rousey fan, set up Rousey winning the Rumble for
Yeah.
their rematch at WrestleMania this year,
One-on-one.
one-on-one,
Absolutely.
and you
Yeah.
could go, yeah, you beat me, but hey, my shoulder came up and I had to wrestle two of you. You're not going to beat me one-on-one, and Becky and Ronda have yet to have their one-on-one match. So, if they're smart, that's what they do. I don't know what Ronda's doing. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Again, I'm not really, she draws all the money, so I can't really complain too much, but I'm not really super high on some of Ronda's wrestling. I feel like she could benefit like from a Shayna Baszler thing where she develops, but still, that's money, and I would... I've said before, you let the best match main event WrestleMania, and while I'm not like a fan of the women main event WrestleMania just so they can go, we got the women in there again,
Right.
look at how great we are having the women in there again. But last year, and if you let Becky get her momentum again and have her and Ronda again, that's still money, and that's still worthy of a main event.
Yep.
Because I've just given up on AJ ever main eventing a WrestleMania at this point.
Yeah, it's not looking promising, is it?
All right, so that was your number 8.
Yep.
This is one I didn't know if I wanted to make this one number 8 or number 7, so I'm kind of glad I didn't make it number 8 at this point because you'll find out when you hear my number 7. I'm going with Kazuchika Okada versus Minoru Suzuki for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at New Japan Pro Wrestling Royal Quest from the UK. This was an amazing match. Let me see. We got some more. King Corbin wrestled. Yeah. Shush your pie hole. Shush your pie hole. Can't believe I quit talking about Minoru Suzuki for that bullshit. This was an amazing match. A testament to just how awesome Minoru Suzuki is. The crowd in the UK was hot for this one. Suzuki makes a lot of trips to the UK for Rev Pro, so it was like a really, despite despite Suzuki being, through the story of the match and everything else, just the out-and-out villain, the crowd was still hot, and especially with the match built, and you thought that, holy shit, Suzuki's gonna finally get the one world championship in Japan he has yet to hold. Story was amazing with Suzuki targeting the Rainmaker arm throughout the whole match with strikes and arm bars and submissions. And Suzuki, Okada being Okada, you know, I don't connect with Okada as a character. To me, he's like Bret Hart, to where I'm never going to complain about his wrestling, but character-wise, I just something not there. But he's still an amazing wrestler, and he proved it. Okada proved why he is still such a prodigy in the ring to me, and Suzuki proved why he is still awesome at 51 years old. So
I'm scared of the guy.
Oh, I was scared of the guy too. It's funny because he is. I'm not gonna say. He is a nice guy. Like if you meet him, but like there's still an aura about him. And it's like the story I've told before. Like we're going up in the picture line, and somebody asked him like, you know, can you put me in a chokehold? And he goes, oh no. That costs extra. So
nice.
But yeah, that's my number 8.
7. Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan on an episode of SmackDown where everybody was stranded in.
I should put that as an honorable mention because I was thinking about that one as well. Yeah, that was a great match.
Yeah. And a heck of a win for Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I don't know if they'd ever wrestled before, but the only issue I had with that match was it was a TV match. And I have TV matches on here too. But just imagine them at a takeover or a pay-per-view where they had, 12 to 20 uninterrupted minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, I agree. But, yeah, one of those hidden gems on TV. There.
Oh yeah. And number 7. Oscar versus Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble.
There you go.
So there you go. That's why I'm glad I put that a little higher, so we're not just completely mirroring each other. But yeah,
no, I
amazing match. Because also like to kind of add on what we were talking about earlier with that, you really didn't know who was going to win.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, okay, is Becky going to win this, and then they do title unification at WrestleMania when she wins the Rumble, or you're kind of just going like, for once they actually had like, I don't know where they're going with this, and it's not bad.
Right.
And to be fair, the only reason I was mad about Charlotte even being included was because it just shafted Asuka.
Yeah. So
Asuka's probably my number 2 favorite woman wrestler in the world, behind Becky.
Fair. Yeah.
So, yeah. Is what it is.
Yep.
It's number 7.
All right. 6. Oh yes, I enjoyed the hell out of this match. Don't ask me which takeover it was at because I don't remember. But Viking Raiders versus Fish and O'Reilly.
Okay.
Was a hell of a match. Like that particular takeover had a lot of good things on it from what I remember, but that particular match was the opener, and it jumped out at me more than the rest. I don't know, something about just the way they went all at it,
Was it Toronto?
It might have been Toronto. I swear it was this year. I know it was. Because Viking Raiders, it was the one with the Royal Rumble, I think.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't Toronto. It's Phoenix.
Okay. Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it was like right at the beginning of the year, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, because their last takeover was WrestleMania.
Right.
Yeah.
Against Aleister Black and Ricochet.
I was there.
Right. Yeah. So it was the one before that because they shut down. They won. They stopped the Undisputed Era from taking their belts, and they were still champions.
And then there's still the War Raiders too.
This is correct, but just since we're going with Viking Raiders now, I'm just
the Viking experience.
That's right. Oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus, right.
But yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed the heck out of that. Showed why all 4 of them are like the top, 2 of the top tag teams
in WWE.
In WWE, period. So, Yeah, go watch it.
Well, my number 6 is Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35. This was the best match at WrestleMania, and it wasn't the best match grade on a curve. Like, even compared to all the good wrestling I saw that weekend, it's still a phenomenal match. Match had me on the edge of my seat. Like, I was exhausted that whole... When it got to WrestleMania, I was beat. So, unfortunately for a lot of matches, I was just kind of observing more than, I was kind of like, I'm enjoying the atmosphere. I'm like, okay. Oh, yeah, Seth Rollins. Oh, okay, AJ, yeah. Oh, okay, AJ, yes. Okay. This was one where I was actually kind of up and down. This was one that kind of helped me get through my exhaustion, my everything that I was feeling at that time, and really kind of brought me in like, you're at WrestleMania. Here we go, So, and it was just an amazing match. Back and forth. The doubt that we had on this show, there's no way we're going to have 3 happy endings.
Right.
And if there's going to be one happy ending that has to go, it's going to be Kofi. But in a surprising turn of events, it wasn't Kofi. It wasn't any of them.
We got all 3 happy endings.
The only thing that this match did was make me go, oh God, Becky's going to lose.
Right.
It made Becky go from the sure thing to uh-oh. But... yeah, amazing match. Really emotional with the New Day. Just kind of I never thought... It wasn't until this whole story began, I never thought we'd see Kofi as world champion.
Oh, I agree.
Not that he wasn't worthy of it, but it's just like there came a time with Kofi where, it's kind of like Shelton Benjamin. I'm not trying to just compare the two African American wrestlers. Just Shelton were like, oh, he can make it up to that next tier, and then he went down.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kofi were like, it was Randy Orton. Oh, he can make it up there. No.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of found a spot. Oh, hey, he's the perennial IC-US. He has his fun spot in the Rumble. Here's Kofi's role. Right. And then just out of the blue, Kofi, no, I can have a better role. And,
right.
Something I never thought I'd see. But, something I didn't think I'd see, so it's not like, where I'm sitting here like AJ at WrestleMania or main event at WrestleMania or, all these new NXT guys. I'm like, man, I hope they win worlds. I didn't really think, hope for them to win the world title because I just didn't think it was ever going to happen.
Right.
But then it just started to happen, and it just... Probably the most WrestleMania-worthy feeling I had at my whole time there at WrestleMania. So, yep, that's my number 6. Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 35. Gonna have to hit the...
Also not on my list, but a big shout-out to thinking more on Kofi. Kofi versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, it was...
Not at SummerSlam, the other one, because SummerSlam was... Yeah.
I apologize for this, guys. It's that time of year, and
it is,
and we have bipolar weather here.
Yeah.
We had spring Christmas, and it's feeling like on Christmas, and it's feeling like winter again today.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
So,
I apologize to us. Diseases aplenty and misery.
Indeed.
Number 5. Keeping on the same train I was just on, Viking Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet.
That was a great match.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I mean, I wasn't sure about Aleister Black and Ricochet as a team, but they really...
They gelled well.
They really gelled there for that.
Even though they were kind of just, you're both from there, you're a team now, but the fact they actually had them win the Dusty...
I'm not upset that they're not together anymore, but...
The fact they actually had them win the Dusty Classic, and they had good chemistry, and they tag teamed at WrestleMania the next night, or 2 nights later.
The next night.
No, it was the next night.
Oh, it was 2 nights. Oh, that's right, that's right.
Friday.
Yeah, 2 nights later. Yeah. They did some stuff in that match. It was a fatal four-way tag match, so it wasn't as...
That match, we're kind of veering off. That match wasn't as good as I thought it would be with the talent involved, because it was a clusterfuck match.
Yes.
But something from seeing Ricochet, who's from 2 hours away from us in Paducah, Kentucky, where we know people that broke into the business with
Right.
Ricochet get a WrestleMania match was still kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
satisfying to see in person.
So, but yeah, Viking Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. A fitting conclusion after the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Yes.
Good. Number 5.
Number 5. Oh, lost my pages. Number 5 is Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito from the G1 Supercard. Match of the night on the Supercard, and I know we have some trolls in there that are going to say it's Matt Taven, but no, it wasn't. Matt Taven is complete trash and a complete trash of a company. So there you go. But the show-stealing match, even better than the main event, which also had somebody who I don't particularly care for, but I've bashed him enough the last few weeks. I will not say as many mean things about the knife pervert. This is the best match on a really, really good show that, at least from the New Japan perspective, back and forth. You know, you never knew who was going to win that match. Just when Naito, it was kind of the epitome. You know, some say this is the epitome of better wrestling, but it's like everything built, and there's a Destino, and there's a, and then, even as a Naito fan, when Ibushi finally won, I was still happy for Ibushi to get to see that much of an achievement, and
he earned that victory.
He earned it, and it was, but as many holy shit things they were doing, there was not as much danger as they did the couple months later at Dominion, so that's why this match gets the nod over that dangerous
Holy moly.
bunch of crap.
That cheese. Yeah. There aren't a ton of spots. I don't know. I know we're trying not to use insider terms here. Spots, bumps, thuds, landings. There aren't very many things that are more cringeworthy than what they did to me.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4. I ranked this a little too high, I think, but that's all right. I kind of did this on the fly. But argue with me if you will. This was a good match. Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Okay.
Not at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania wasn't bad. It was
just.
it was a long beatdown, and Seth got his win back. The match officially was only 2 minutes long.
Yeah. But SummerSlam, even though they had some pre-match shenanigans, was a good David versus Goliath match. And I mean, as much crap as we've given him lately on this show, that he
rightfully
earned,
so.
that he freaking earned.
Seth freaking Rollins freaking earned the crap.
Yeah. But he did a hell of a job at SummerSlam. Like,
yes, he did. I can't take anything. Look, I know on the internet, if you say you're a Seth Rollins fan, you that's like saying you're a Trump supporter.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that'd be accurate right now.
But you can't take anything away from how great of a wrestler he is, and the fact that before he went stupid, he was the best choice to carry the company.
Yeah.
People wanted him. They rejected Roman Reigns.
Yep.
We can all have the everybody has the I want to say hindsight, but like kind of the tragedy. Oh, we love Roman now. We always loved Roman because he got sick, kind of thing. That everybody's all like, oh, don't Roman's the man now, because let's call.
Yeah.
Let's be real with ourselves. Before we found out Roman got sick, his ass was getting booed out of every building because no one wanted him.
Yeah.
So when that didn't work,
WWE's credit, they actually turned Seth Rollins into a villain after everybody turned on him. And
yeah.
Something they were never willing to do with
right.
Roman. And even though we all said, just do it.
Yeah. So everybody wanted Seth. Seth didn't handle himself well. And also wasn't used, let's be honest, he wasn't used well either when he was being,
His reign as champion was
crap.
Yeah.
And you also don't make your champion cower in fear like he was.
So as soon as he won the belt at WrestleMania, he went into a really long feud. Okay, skip that for a minute. Especially since it's on my list. And
lost to Lesnar again.
No, before that. He wrestled Baron Corbin.
Oh, God, yeah.
Uh-huh. And then he lost it to Lesnar because they're like, this isn't working. I wonder why it wasn't working. Baron Corbin. And then he won it from Lesnar in a great match. Then did a thing with Strowman and then went right into this thing with the Fiend. So like it didn't go.
Seth
And
was set
that
up
led to Hell
for
in a Cell, which he was.
Seth was set up for failure, but the problem was Seth was going, I'm not getting set up for failure. This is the best fucking shit ever, guys.
Yep.
It was such good shit.
That's pretty much the worst part of it. Was he was trying to be on the company's side, and it's like, we like you, but you don't have to defend these people.
And then when he, I think,
and then he went crazy.
they went like, I don't mind that he bashed Will Ospreay. If he would have just kept the whole money thing and the whole Dean Ambrose is taking food off my table comment. If other than that, it would have been like, look, he's an idiot, but he's towing the company line, whatever.
Right.
But he went
Full, yeah.
He went full blank.
Yes, he did.
All right, number 4.
Yeah, what you got?
Oh yeah, you're number 4.
I just did Rollins versus Lesnar.
Okay, my number 4 is the Young Bucks versus the Rhodes Brothers from AEW Fight for the Fallen. Amazing tag match. You got to see. The reason this match is so high is you got to see Cody and Dustin, to a point, keep up with the Bucks and still be good. And you also got to see the Bucks slow down old school with Cody and Dustin and still be good.
That's
cool. While they're both not, each other's, it was a good meshing of styles, and they both proved that they could adjust when they needed to the other person.
Gotcha.
So many old school guys can't wrestle.
Right.
People like the Young Bucks.
Right.
And it's bad. The Young Bucks maybe couldn't wrestle a slower pace. Right. These guys did, and they did really, really well in an amazing back and forth match that was, in my opinion, better than Shima and Kenny Omega.
Gotcha.
That I thought would have been impossible to top on the same show.
Right.
But they, in my opinion, they managed to do so. And it was
cool.
It's an awesome match.
I didn't actually see Fight for the Fallen. Life got in the way. That's the one I didn't see.
Well, come on over and watch it. I think it's still free on BR Live.
Oh, I'll do that.
Number 3.
3. I got Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania.
Enough said. We've already went through that one. All right, my number 3 is Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom 13.
Okay.
Watching it again after having your heart broken, knowing that you're not going to see Kenny Omega in the Garden, it's still a really well told story, especially because I've watched it 3 times. I watched it. It got spoiled. I woke up early and avoid spoilers, and then in a group chat, everybody just made the big text. Well, Kenny's still in New Japan. I'm like, motherfucker. Like, why didn't you tell me spoiler? They're like, why didn't you tell me spoiler? I told you he's still in New Japan. It's like, then he obviously lost the title. Excuse me. So I already kind of knew, he probably lost. But I still kind of watched it, hoping and building that the ending would be different, and then it wasn't. Then I was sad, and then I watched it another time. A few days later, I'm like, well, let me see if I can appreciate the match part of it. Okay, well, but it was still really good, and then I watched it again to review all these, and yeah, it's worthy of the number 3 spot. We've learned now. I'm going to get it.
Particularly dry today.
Yes.
More of that friggin' weather. Anyway.
Yeah. They just did the Wrestlers Ordering Room Service video on Being the Elite on their YouTube channel.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like more of a legit interview. Oh. And they mention, you find out just how different things were supposed to be going into that match. The match itself is kind of it was supposed to be a 50-50 of choose your side. Old school New Japan with Tanahashi, or the new New Japan with Kenny.
Gotcha.
But then when they kind of got wind of AEW, they were like, nope, Kenny's just full on baddie. He's almost xenophobic. But they still ended up managing to, despite the hindrances that we're hearing from New Japan, still have a really good match. And there's this really, really good moment where Tanahashi's the pure of heart good guy, but every time he tries to break the rules or do something bad, it always costs him. That's always just been a character flaw through all of Tanahashi's matches. When he tries to do the bad, when he doesn't do the right thing, he fails. He tried to he faked a knee injury against Okada once, and acted cocky about it, and then he lost the match. When he tried to cheat and use the table against Kenny, it ended up costing him.
Right.
And he almost lost the match. So I think that's just kind of a cool part of Tanahashi's character is that he can't not be this hero.
If he's not toting that lawful good thing, then bad things happen.
Yeah.
Starts suffering penalties right out the gate when he starts that nonsense.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
That to me was my favorite part of the match. And it's number 3.
Oh my, we're all the way up to number 2. And that is going to be Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles.
Okay.
It was good. It was really good. It told a good story. I mean, Styles kind of passed the gauntlet. Unfortunately, things went bad from there, but, Baron Corbin happened.
The one thing that I will say about this...
I know that it could have been part 1 of more. I
know
that. But
well, no.
Anyway.
This was, to me... This and Finn Balor have kind of been... This Finn Balor and TLC with Daniel Bryan last year have been the only times that AJ has had his match with another internet darling has lived up to the hype.
Yeah, right.
When AJ wrestles
Kevin Owens,
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, it doesn't live up to the hype.
Yeah.
When he wrestles Chris Jericho, it was good, not great.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever Shinsuke Nakamura, it was not New Japan.
Oh, oof, yeah.
Samoa Joe, yeah.
Did not recapture the magic they had in TNA.
No. But when AJ would wrestle Roman Reigns or John Cena or Brock Lesnar or Shane McMahon,
yeah,
it exceeded your expectations. It was amazing. I still think Cena's probably still one of my all-time favorite matches, the SummerSlam match with Cena. So I like that because, like I said, it's like the other, 2 matches, the Finn match at TLC last year, or at 2017, and then was it TLC? Yeah, it was TLC, wasn't it?
It was either it might have been TLC.
TLC and then TLC with Daniel Bryan. And then this one, there's the only ones where it's like, okay, that's what we expected from AJ and this other internet darling.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And that was AJ on jet lag in that match with Finn Balor because they flew him back in from a South American tour.
Yeah.
On 3 hours notice.
Yeah.
What the hell? That makes that even more implausible. All right. So what you got for number 2?
Number 2, Cody versus Dustin Rhodes. AEW Double or Nothing.
I mean,
this to me was the best match in AEW so far.
I'd agree.
The story was amazing. It was. You could feel the spirit. The thing, like I kind of said, I said last year with Aldis and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
You could feel the spirit of Dusty. It felt like Dusty and Flair.
Right.
This felt like this was Dusty just... You could tell these are his kids. You could tell that this was a Dusty type of match.
Right.
Done as well as he could. A bloody, old school, knockdown, drag-out fight. The bunkhouse match, if you will, baby. And it was amazing. It proved that even though in his haters are always going to shit on it because they're haters, it proved that anybody who thinks that Cody Rhodes doesn't have something to offer in the ring is a hater or blind.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have similar, but sometimes differing opinions on wrestling, and we both preferred that match over the Lucha Brothers Young Bucks match that came on next.
And
my wife didn't, but then again, once the blood come out, she was kind of just over the match.
Right.
It was too much for her.
It proved that even Meltzer, which I think that Meltzer's star ratings are not the end all be all of anything. Like, again, it's like, okay, I gave a match 1,000 stars,
right?
Whatever.
Especially once he broke his rating system. But yeah. even still, Undertaker versus Michaels for one.
Yeah.
How is that anything less than 5? Anyway.
Yeah, but here he was, even he gave that credit. It proved that, Dustin Rhodes at 50.
Freaking Dustin Rhodes of all people.
And I'm not saying that Dustin wasn't amazing. I mean, go back and watch, I liked Goldust back in the day. Goldust was a fun character.
Don't get me wrong on that. It's more where we saw Goldust these last few years.
Yeah.
Before.
As part of the Golden Truth.
Yeah.
And Black Rain.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you go, we saw the Natural again from the old WCW days. Better than he was then.
Right.
It's just like, it wasn't a Kenny Omega match. Yeah, it wasn't a Young Bucks match. And, for better or worse, it's their opinion. They have a right to think it. In that respect, there's a lot of AEW fans or people in our audience that are going to go, oh, that's garbage. Where's this? That's boring. But to me, if you don't see why people like this and don't see why it has a place after this match, you kind of just have your own blinders on. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. Yep. But, yeah, even after all of that, it is only number 2.
Son of a gun. All right.
Hopefully I can make it through it talking about the next one. And all the other stuff we got to talk about.
Number 1 was, and I want to say this was around WrestleMania, so the New York one, TakeOver. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano.
We tied! Our number 1 is the same! Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. NXT take look behind you. There it is. NXT TakeOver New York.
Oh. No, I know.
Yep. Fucking awesome match. I've sang its praises 1,000 times here on the show. Best match I've ever seen in person. Best match of the year. Maybe I'm overrating it because I wasn't there. Maybe there was better matches. Maybe
I watched it on TV.
Yeah, so maybe Kenny and Tanahashi was better. Maybe I don't know, but the atmosphere of the match was amazing. I will always go back to the fact, and I was seeing Johnny Gargano in the O'Fallon, Illinois, and Alton, Illinois, KC halls, talking about Steve from Blue's Clues and Shawn Michaels being his hero, who's a male stripper, and his jealousy that the Denver Broncos got Peyton Manning, and I've literally shot the shit with Johnny Gargano. I shook Adam Cole's hand before he was anything. Mm-hmm. To see them in this match, and to be rooting for Adam Cole, starting out, nothing against Johnny Gargano, but to be wearing an Undisputed Era t-shirt and going into this going, well, Gargano's been on the main roster. It's been a good ride. This will be a good swan song, and then finally this era will be undisputed.
Right.
The title will come, yay. All that. Midway through that match, my mind's turned. I'm booing the Undisputed Era coming in.
Right.
I'm cheering for Gargano. I want Johnny Gargano to win more than anything. At that moment, more than anything in the world, I wanted Johnny Gargano to win the NXT Championship. It was like Rocky IV.
Right.
Best match I've ever seen in person. Best match of 2019.
There you go. Now you know.
So now we have the rest of our best of lists. If my throat can make it through it. We have the Wrestler of the Year.
Jedi.
Yeah, go first.
Adam Cole, baby.
Okay. I'd say that's a very accurate pick.
He has had a friggin' solid year. Like, no ups, no downs. Like, he's been there. You know, and yeah,
Right.
he lost Gargano, but I mean, it's been the Adam Cole year as far as NXT is
Yeah.
concerned. And no one on the main roster held a candle to it. And with AEW, I mean, Cody and Jericho have had a good year. Those are the two that would stand out to me with the way AEW's ran so far. But I'm going to go with Adam Cole.
Right. Well, I'm going with Cody. And you
Fair
can cite bias, but to me,
I'm not going to argue with that pick. I just mentioned that was a good candidate.
well, it's like, while maybe, like I said, in the ring to what we here on the internet judge is a good match, yeah, maybe he's only had a couple.
Right.
2, maybe 3 if you want to throw in the Spears match. But, like, if you get on the internet, you think everybody hates Cody. You go into a building with Cody,
Right.
and it gives you goosebumps just how everybody in that building reacts to him. How good he is to sell a storyline, to sell himself, to sell the importance of why he is fighting.
Last year, I might have said Johnny Gargano was the best hero in wrestling. This year, it was undisputably Cody.
Yes.
Gargano wasn't on TV enough. He was injured for a while.
Right. But, for someone, for all the grief that he gets, and, some people, I get their annoyance, but somebody who can go out there and just, like, have the crowd in the palm of their hand. It's a cliche, but, like, when I went to the show in Champaign and he did that interview, it's like, I've seen Ric Flair do the same interview, and I was just as I can't talk because this fucking illness. Just as grabbed by it and grasped me into what he was saying that much. So,
yeah.
Wrestler of the Year's Cody for me. Suck it, haters. Breakout Star of the Year is next, and
Guess I'm going first again?
Yep.
Okay. So mine is a tie. No one broke out in WWE. No, argue with me.
No, I did debate on Keith Lee after these last few months.
I understand that, but I kind of feel like Survivor Series was the first step, and it wasn't quite enough for me to give him the green light on that. Although I agree with what you're saying. For me, it was definitely in the AEW camp because they were the new kid on the block, and obviously I was familiar with some of these people. But it was a tie between Darby Allin and MJF. Darby Allin, I'd never heard of him, and just seen his thing with Cody, and then and his thing with Shima, and with Jericho, and everything he's done is just like, damn, where did this kid come from?
Mm-hmm.
And MJF, for the freaking character work, like, I mean, you talk about having him eat out of the palm of your hand.
For as great as, and it really shows how good this rivalry could be, because you have somebody who's just the opposite of Cody, who can get even the most, I ain't gonna buy into this. I'm gonna cheer for MJF because he's because I want to be a hipster, and I want to be counterculture, and I want to go against this because I don't like it. He's still gonna find that nerve.
Yep.
And he's gonna go, and you're gonna go, you motherfucking MJF.
Yep.
Even the most smart of crowds who want to cheer him just because they want to troll can get that one thing from MJF and be like, fuck you, motherfucker.
It's like the antithesis of what Gargano did, where he turned a bunch of the Adam Cole fans at
Yeah.
TakeOver. It's like the opposite of that. It's like, no, you will boo me.
He will find a way.
You think you won't, but you will. So yeah, just for that, because I mean, when do you see a prodigy quite like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right.
So those are what jumped out at me.
Okay. Mine is Rio. And I debated on, I debated on Keith Lee. I debated on MJF. I debated on Darby Allin. And it really came down, kind of for similar reasons. I just kind of thought, well, Keith Lee, maybe not. If this would have happened in the summer, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I would have gone with Keith Lee. But I feel like maybe Next year might be his year. He may be wrestler of the year next year.
Right.
He may not even be a
Right.
breakout star. MJF, I feel like the following's on a grander stage now than it was last year. Because I never heard of MJF until All In last year. And then I kind of, through being the Elite and through that, you kind of realize I found out what MJF was all about. So I guess because of that, I kind of had an attachment to him.
It's fair. Yeah.
And Darby Allin, again, it came down to Darby Allin and Rio. And I kind of felt, well, I knew a little bit about Darby Allin. I knew nothing about Rio. And that is literally the only thing that, like, by a hair, that's why I give it to Rio. Not, the women's division in AEW leaves a lot to be desired, but Rio's done a tremendous job carrying it. She's not had bad, she's had okay to great matches. She pulled a great match on Nyla Rose, and that's just me saying that Nyla Rose still needs some. She's still green around the gills. She still needs some work, but somebody who is that green had a show-stealing match because of Rio.
Right.
I feel like she could really help bring the Joshi style, make it more popular in America. So I'm gonna go Rio by that much because Darby Allin is kicking some major league ass right now,
Yeah.
and he has ever since.
Right.
Fighter Fest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fun fact about Rio: the promotion she started in Japan doesn't wrestle on a ring; they have like a mat.
Really?
Yeah. It weirded me out. I watched this video and I was like, "What?" And Kenny Omega wrestled in that promotion with her in a tag on that mat. It's on YouTube. I was like, "What?" I didn't watch all of it, but I was like, "What? What?" I never remember that.
Might check that out.
Anyway, so what we got now? Where are we at now?
We are at the show of the year.
Show of the year. Yeah. We weren't sure about we thought about underrated, but like, yeah. How do you even? I mean,
How do you do
it's
underrated
WWE,
here?
The way they book people, like everybody's underrated.
And one person's underrated is the next person's
overhyped.
Overrated.
Yep.
I could say that. Again, my wrestler of the year in dessert, is underrated in the ring because of all these great matches, and then you got somebody going like, no, he's overrated because, he can't do what the Young Bucks do.
Right. It's
kind of like there's a little too...
It's true. It's not a category that we actually put on here, but if I were to come up with, like, best comeback of the year, I think it'd have to be Bray Wyatt, just because that character resurgence.
I'd agree.
Like, I mean... He went from, who cares, to, wow, best thing on the show for a while.
And making this little impromptu one, like, and went from somewhere like, oh, God, this is going to be, what is this? What's Bray Wyatt doing?
Right.
And then it became the best thing on the fucking show. That, or maybe also the biggest, kind of along the same lines, another impromptu award, biggest shock, or biggest surprise of the year. Not surprise in terms of oh God, something I didn't expect to like that I did. 24/7 title. I thought that was going to be so stupid, and I look forward to 24/7. I look forward to R-Truth more than a lot of other people.
Right.
So it's not a shock all these other things. It's more like I'm shocked I like that.
Yeah.
The pleasant surprise of the year.
So, show of the year we're at, huh? All right. This is going to be a controversial one, but I'm going off of... with a lot of these pay-per-views, I purposely skip matches because I just don't have time to watch a whole dang show.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it for something like WrestleMania, but then sometimes I'll kind of regret it because it's so damn long. Over the course of 2 or 3 nights because I can't watch it.
Right.
So, recent memory, I may be leaving something out or insulting something, so call me out on it if you want, but the one in recent memory was Survivor Series this year. I really liked the NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown thing. All the matches intrigued me. Even the
it was just a shame
to the friggin' pre-show.
It was just a shame they didn't tell us.
No, I know, I agree.
So we could do a show about it.
Right. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't some sort of pre-match hype. Literally Saturday, I was like, oh, so this is kind of what they're doing. Okay, well, I want to see that. I want to see that. The ones they announced, And then the group teams, it's like, well, this should be interesting, and they usually turned out pretty good. Some of them had some interesting stories I wouldn't have seen coming. Like with NXT, where 2 of the women were taken out and then came back and stuff. It's like, okay, this is interesting. And the Roman Reigns versus Keith Lee ending was definitely not really one I saw coming either. And it's like, okay.
Good.
I
Good moment for Keith Lee.
But no, it's Keith Lee. You know, it's like, oh, okay, well, here we go. So
I apologize for all the coughing, folks, but it's
man, he about murdered Roman with that powerbomb.
Yeah.
Like, he bounced so high, he was literally just laying on his neck. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
That's a hell of an impact.
Mine is AEW Double or Nothing. Just because I had it was hard for me to really figure it out, you know, because like, well, do I want to make it TakeOver New York, you know, because it was probably the best top to bottom show I've ever been to. I'm like, but, you know, one good match. It was just kind of like I was just kind of doing all the debates to myself, and you know, Survivor Series up there, TakeOver Toronto.
Yeah.
They were all up there, but I went with Double or Nothing just because I feel like, other than like the pre-show stuff, that the Battle Royal, which still was not bad, I feel like just the flow of the show was good. Everything was.
Oh yeah, the Double. Okay.
Everything was amazing to very good.
Yeah.
Even the Young Bucks match where I'm like, they need to scale back. That was still very good. Jericho and Kenny was still very good.
Yeah.
We missed out on Pac versus Hangman, but then they used that to give more time to the Joshis in the women's match. We have a surprise with Awesome Kong. You know, the women's match, even then, like that was maybe the worst match on the card. The Western women's match, and it was still pretty damn good. You know, if you find out that, you know, for all the grief I give Nyla Rose, I watched the match, I'm like, well, she's got some potential.
Right.
You know, I remember saying that, like, well, she's got potential.
Yeah.
She was like the only one I'd never seen before in that whole match, and like, well, she.
Right.
So, the whole show just left me feeling optimistic. I felt like I spent my money well, which, you know, with AEW pay-per-views, we're back to, did you spend your money well?
Yeah.
And I've yet to be let down, but
talk about the proving ground, right?
This was one where I'm like, definitely, however we had to divide up that $50, well spent.
Right.
So, yeah, that's my show of the year. And finally, we have most underrated.
Oh, we do most underrated. Oh,
or not most underrated, I'm sorry. I made most underrated, yeah. I just gave it to Taichi from New Japan. Yeah, so we weren't going to do it, but like I did want to recognize Taichi. Because for all the grief he gets, he's had a damn good run this year. They kind of consider him the worst of New Japan, but great character work, great stuff. You know, I know, like I said, we weren't doing the most underrated, but I have a note on here, mention Taichi being underrated. So there you go.
Yeah, I actually went with, if we did do that one, I had selected Riho just because it seems like she gets an awful lot of hate. And it's like, you guys need to do your research because I think you're wrong, but, you know.
Yeah, so.
That's the fun thing about wrestling internet forums, though.
Oh, yeah. It's all bad. We're as great as this community can be, it can also be terrible. But, yeah, I really just want to recognize him because, I mean, no, he's not Okada, he's not Naito, he's not Tanahashi, he's not Zack Sabre Jr., he's not Ishii, he's not Goto, he's not Hiromu, he's not even Jay White. It's a cold day in fucking hell, I will put the overrated knife pervert over. But there's just something about his character and how he can bring character work that's like a Western character work and make it really, really work and not feel forced in New Japan. The match he had at the New Beginning with Naito for the Intercontinental title, IWGP Intercontinental title, where just like how he had his like smarmy little shenanigans. He is like the epitome of anime douche. Like the bully, annoying douchey guy in an anime you would watch, that's Taichi. And yeah,
And yet it flows and doesn't feel forced.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah, to me. Now you get some of the puro and the work rate experts that are like, fuck Taichi, fuck him, I hope he never wrestles again.
Gotcha.
But for me, who likes wrestling as a buffet,
Yeah.
I feel like, he's kind of a, he's I'm trying to think of a good comparison. He's kind of the cake that you have there at the end, the kind of the apple cake. You don't always want it, but you don't want it not to be there.
Right.
When you go to a buffet.
That choice. Yeah, gotcha. It's fair. Speaking of buffets, that would be my basic. What would you call it? That would be how I would describe AEW as a whole. As buffet.
It does need work.
It needs work. Yeah, but.
I'm not gonna shill and be such a fanboy right now that it's.
Well, I'm gonna say they offer a buffet. If you just want like fast-paced action, I mean, there's still some developmental slow stuff on there, but like the main event part of NXT, some of the most solid wrestling you will get in the ring. I mean,
The
Ring of Honor of yesteryear, you heard how, Especially current Ring of Honor. I mean,
fuck that place.
Guys. But, and then I don't know what to say about Raw and SmackDown. I really don't.
I will say this: if it wasn't for AEW, this show would just be like, this would be like the hardest video to get through on my channel.
Yeah.
Because the main roster just went to some kind of hell this year.
Yeah. And shout out to the Kabuki Warriors. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
You've been the bright spot in that women's tag division since it started.
You've been the only thing in that women's tag division. Other than, I'm going to pull out my shallow card real quick, liking to look at the Iconics. There's nothing, other than the Kabuki Warriors, no. There's nothing really that good in the tag division and for the women, unfortunately. And you're looking at someone who wanted to have those belts.
Yeah.
So
they've had a good run. So far.
But AEW and the NXT has given me something to get excited about talking about on the show rather than me scrolling through going, this was dumb.
Yeah.
I don't like this. It's dumb.
We're literally to the point where we basically discuss Wednesdays, and every now and again, one of the most horrific points that happened on a Monday, or maybe the previous Friday.
Yeah. So, that's why I hope AEW sticks around. That's why I hope we don't have any. For everybody that thinks AEW is the epitome of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody's one of the most. I'm gonna break my cardinal rule here. He's the most over guy on the roster. He shouldn't be used because he doesn't wrestle the fast-paced style we need.
Right.
But then, you put then who should they? Well, they should use Darby Allin. Well, nobody knows who Darby Allin is. Okay, so Darby Allin's champion. Well, nobody's watching the show. Oh, they shouldn't be using castoffs like Moxley and Jericho because they're WWE guys. Well, but people recognize them. Oh, the Elite need to get pushed. Closer. Well, if they do that, starting off on company so they can push themselves. Oh, Kenny Omega needs to win more, because, he's being turned into everything he thought was going to happen to him in WWE, AEW's doing to him. And it's like, again, if he would have just gone there and won everything, people have been like, oh, an EVP's making himself the guy. So, AEW lives in a perpetual catch-22.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks. And they need to, the water's a little, muddy right now. They need to clear some shit up. But overall, it's what's keeping me interested in wrestling.
Yep. Let's see where they go from here,
Well played's another good year, but
right.
That is it for us this week. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for a year of support. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content. Not just from the world of professional wrestling, from the world of anime, gaming, comic books, and all things geek culture. Follow me on all my social media pages. Go like my Facebook page, facebook.com/athleticgeek89. Follow me on Twitter, even though I don't tweet a whole hell of a lot, at athletic_geek89. It is getting hard to talk. And follow me on Instagram at athleticgeek89. Jedi does not have social media because he's got kids and doesn't have time for that. But if you got a question for him, comment section on here.
Any of his
or my social media, yeah. Let us know all your top 10 match of the year, your breakout star of the year, your wrestler of the year, your show of the year. Let us all know in your comment section below.
Tell us how wrong we were.
Yeah, tell us,
dude.
Tell us how stupid we are for thinking that anything other than Will Ospreay should be on that list. Tell us how bad I am for thinking that
Cody should be on the list. Shame on you.
Yeah. But for J. Jason Kruger, I am the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks, and we're out. Have a good one.
See you next year.